I go to an after-school chess club.
I go to band practice. I play rounders.
Many looked after children don't get these opportunities.
It's really, really important that looked after children have the same opportunities for out-of-school hours learning as children who are in their birth families. Birth parents are concerned that their children go to school and do well and have fun, and that's something that we must be really careful not to lose sight of for looked after children. They have those same needs, and having fun and being successful at something out of school can often help them restore their own self-esteem and self-confidence and enable them to go into school and feel better about perhaps the things that they're finding difficult there. It gives them something to talk about with their friends, and it gives them a sense of achievement. Our aim with regards to out-of-school hours learning is that every child who is in care should be engaged in at least one out-of-school hours activity a week on a regular basis and enjoying themselves. We provide funding for that to happen, and we keep it on the supervision list of the social workers, and we ask about it at reviews so that we can drive forward the participation of children in public care into out-of-school hours activities so that they can have fun and enjoy themselves.
So what's the next move? Where do I go? Where do I stay? Where do I work? Where do I rest? Where do I play? It feels as though I've been up in this gridlock for days.
I come from Whistledown High School. I do taekwondo once a week. I do like gradings for my belts. I don't know how many belts there are, but I think there's about 8 or something. I am on a grade yellow belt.
I met Gemma about 1.5 years ago when she started at Birkdale, and Gemma's confidence was okay, but not on the high side. She's very quiet, found it difficult to make friends, and did need some support in school to help her through that. But she's been going to the taekwondo class since September, so it's about 4 or 5 months now, and I've seen Gemma's confidence grow incredibly. She finds it much easier to make friends and keep friends. She's much more settled, does listen to instructions better, will listen when teachers are asking her questions, and responds really well to her teachers and her classmates now.
Good girl. He's going to come down here. 1, grab, and twist. And down she goes here. 1, bang, and I'm off. There we go.
I think because Gemma's grown in confidence, her academic ability has improved, so she can work as a team as well as on her own. I think that could really improve her outcomes at school.
I think I have been changing since September when I first started. I have got more confidence and self-esteem from doing these things. I think it has changed a lot at school, because once I've been doing taekwondo and I've got used to it, I've made lots of friends. I'm right proud of myself for doing these things.
Starting in 2004, Nottinghamshire was one of 3 pilot authorities that took part in a pilot project for involving children in care in out-of-school activities. It was called Taking Part. It was run by Continue and the DFES, and it brought together a mixture of professionals to drive forward the project. and we wanted to ensure that all the children in care were engaged in out-of-school hours activities, either connected with their school or in the community in which they lived. We put on a few special activities for looked after children, but actually what we really wanted was for them to be out in their community alongside their non-looked after peers, enjoying themselves, making friends and building relationships.
I go to Colne Valley High School and I've been given maths tutoring after school to help me because I've got my GCSEs coming up soon. The education support team organised for David to come once a week to tutor me on my maths. Me and David go through some of my weak subjects and he helps me, gets me stronger on them.
Which two angles are the same in out of those three? Go on and mark them with a dot or whatever. Sean. Basically, Sean's getting about 40 hours of extra help from me in his maths for his GCSE, and I liaise with his teacher at Colne Valley High School, the school where he goes to, and also the lady who's in charge of looked after children, and so I see him regularly every week.
Check it out. 7 out of 30 goes 4.
4 7 to 28.
Remainder 2.
Remainder 2. You're getting better. Well, I think it's going to help him because not only are hopefully plugging gaps he might have missed in the past, but also backing up what he's doing at school, perhaps helping him with homework when he gets them sent home, and then towards the exam period might be able to do some revision on old tests and basically help the teacher at school by just backing her work up and giving him a bit more individual time.
Well, after he'd done his mocks, he'd totally given up hope. When I taxed him about it, he said that he literally no chance, so he wasn't particularly bothered. This is why we got David, and he likes David as a tutor, so I think he's really buckling down. I think children in care tend to need a little bit more nurturing than children anywhere else, really.
An 8 into 3/6 is easy peasy because it's 4.
That's 8 into 36.
He's a very confident lad, is Sean.
Just make life hard for you.
He's always had a fair amount of confidence, but he just has blips where he thinks, oh, blow it, I can't do it, and gives up.
Which two angles are the same?
So he's to be encouraged.
Those three. Go on and mark them with a dot or whatever.
It's made me a lot more confident because every time I go into my maths lesson, I'm capable of doing what I've been set, my task, and just helped me a lot.
What do you call any four-sided figure?
Quadrilateral.
Yeah, what's a regular quadrilateral called then?
I don't know.
Here's one. You do. What do you call that?
Square.
Right, okay. So how do you work out?
They're all 90 degrees.
They're all 90, alright, it's an easy peasy one. Alright, what about, this is supposed to be a regular hexagon. Okay, so that's got 6 sides.
I'm up into going army, so I need an A to C for the career I want in army.
You need to know the next.
I feel confident that's going to happen.
We've had really good anecdotal evidence of the success of the Taking Part project in Nottinghamshire, which has now been mainstreamed and is part of everything that we consider around children in care. We know that children who have been struggling at school or been struggling within their foster placements, who have subsequently got engaged in an activity that they enjoy and are successful at, have stabilised in their school placement. We have good reports from schools where behaviour has turned around and self-esteem has grown and application to lessons has been restored. And the same for foster placements where because the child is enjoying themselves, they're much more amenable at home, much easier going and much nicer to have around. Schools and designated teachers are fundamental to the out-of-school hours learning agenda for children in care, in the same way that they are for every other child in their school. But it's important that the designated teacher ensures that the foster carers and the children in care know about particular activities that are taking place. Often children in care have difficulties with getting permission very quickly, because whereas birth parents sign the slip and it goes back the next day saying they can take part, children in care often have to have social worker permission, which can't be got just overnight. And so sometimes we find children in care are missing out because their slip hasn't come back quickly enough. And designated teachers are fundamental there to ensuring that places are kept open so that children in care are not disadvantaged with that.
I go to Huddersfield Technical College, but on a Monday night I go to St John's Ambulance, which is in town.
Jennifer was very quiet, withdrawn and in herself, very non-community. Didn't have any school friends, no friends in school or out of school. And well, we thought about a few things and decided we'd try the St John's Ambulance because she wants to look after children when she gets older. And we thought, well, it'll give her a basic grounding on first aid, if nothing else, and help her to integrate with the other children and older people there. And it's gone very well. She really enjoys St John's.
All these pieces in your hands.
Yeah, there you go.
That's where all the germs gather, and in between your fingers.
Jennifer didn't communicate with myself when she came. She didn't know how to hold conversation. So now she has something that she's proud of. She'll come home and tell you what's happened at Tech and what's happened at St John's. And has actually put the St John's into practice twice in the last few months. And you could see she was pleased with herself that she knew what to do. And she just has a lot more self-confidence than she ever had. I'm sure St John's Ambulance has really helped her socially, personally, confidence. She's just a different girl. And everybody that knows her have seen the difference in her.
Out of school activities, it's just helping kids get out, get off street, get out of the house, meet new people, learn new things.
For teachers in school who perhaps provide out-of-school hours learning, it would be really good for them to ensure that the designated teacher knows what it is that they're doing, so that the designated teacher can then make sure that all her children know that these activities are happening, and then if they express an interest in them, then things can be done to make sure that they can attend them. The teachers who are providing activities can also make sure that it's possible for children to join in the middle of a term or non-routinely, so that their activities aren't exclusive to children who've already been in the school for a long time. It's about raising their expectations for these children who have the same intelligence as children who are out of the care system, but have often not had those opportunities. It's about filling in the gaps and driving forward their achievements so that they can realise their potential and get out of this cycle of deprivation and disadvantage that they're in. We can all work together on it. Partnership working is absolutely essential, but actually it's not rocket science.